Good evening, 6:01, December 3rd, we'll start the meeting. We have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Scott is recorded absent. Councilwoman Silliman is recorded absent. Councilmember Pinello.
Here.
Councilmember Lane.
Here.
Councilmember Thompson.
Here.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Here.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Present.
Councilmember Michaels.
Here. You can all rise to salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Privilege of the floor, we have Carrie Osborne.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Osborne. I am the senior account clerk for the wastewater department. I'm also the acting chair of the SEIU union, which is the union for the administrative force of the city. I have worked for the city since February 2022. I started in the clerk's office as an administrative aide and moved to the wastewater department in October 2022 when a position became available. My position at the city of Portland is being eliminated through defunding with the 2025 budget. I am not the only person whose position is being defunded. The senior account clerks for the DPW, Youth Bureau, or DPW and Youth Bureau, excuse me, are also being defunded. DPW position has been vacant since the resignation of the senior account clerk in July, though it is currently staffed by the mayor's secretary. Throughout my time with the city, the SEIU has been whittled down and 7 members have been lost. This has reduced the force by more than half. Positions have been reclassified out of the union, police and fire confidential secretaries, and new positions created when union members have resigned, the accountant position, payroll clerk, and wastewater department, or water department. There are also 2 positions that have been reduced through attrition in the city clerk's office and finance department. It is hard to see this as anything but union busting. The mayor has said that I and the other senior account clerk can apply to positions that are to be created in the finance department. This leaves my current administrative duties to be mostly done by my department heads. I hope that the mayor and council will reconsider these decisions and engage in an open dialogue with the SEIU to find a more equitable solution for all involved, although it may be too late in the process to have significant effect. The SEIU has emailed each council member regarding the reduction in the SEIU. There has been no response from any member, even acknowledging receipt. I watched the budget meetings and have watched or attended the last 2 council meetings. The lack of any conversation discussing the elimination of positions is rather distressing. I came to work for the city of Portland thinking that it would be a stable job that I could work long-term for. However, the recent changes and lack of transparency have left me feeling uncertain about my future with the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Retired Chief Nicholas.
Good evening, just a couple of things. I was curious if you've heard anything about our request to improve traffic control out on 281. You sent a memorandum, I believe, to the DOT in Albany. Number 2, driving around Central New York, I noticed quite often you'll see these traffic monitors that show the speeds vehicles are driving as they enter a speed zone. I'm thinking maybe that would be something the state could put on the north side and the south side of 281. Try to give people the heads up about what this, how fast they're going down through there. And my second thought was I was driving by Parker School last night at approximately 6:15 and the building was lit up. There were cars parked on the surrounding streets in Suggett Park parking area, and there were people inside the building. But I don't recall seeing any notice of a meeting or anything in the Portland Standard prior to me seeing what was going on there last night. So I was just kind of curious, something's going on with Parker School that I've stumbled upon.
Well on patrol.
while on patrol. There you go. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else here to speak, privilege of the floor? None, we'll go to the financial report.
Good evening. If everybody would like to take a look at the financial report, you will see that, general fund, continues to have more expenditures than revenues coming in, which is not great. However, there's a small ray of sunshine. Tomorrow, we will be receiving both the quarterly sales tax and the mortgage tax from April through the end of September from the county. We've worked with them. They've set us up to have a direct deposit to save us an extra day of cashing a check. So that's a little bit positive. And additionally, we generally get our state AIM payment by about the 10th of December each year. So I anticipate that in the next week as well. So that'll start moving us out of the negatives closer to zero, which would be very welcome relief on that line. I've included for everyone, in addition to the usual portions of the finance report, just kind of a summary of emailing that I had back and forth with Mr. Perfetti. We have over $8.3 million right now that we're waiting from the state from various agencies for reimbursements. This is all money that has already gone out from the city that we have applied for reimbursement for. Some of these funds were applied for reimbursement as far back as May. I have been doing my best to verify with various agencies that we have signed everything that we should sign, that we have provided everything that they would require. And so far, they have not asked for anything additional, and yet still the funds have not come in. So just so you're aware why that front page has a minus 6.6 million, that outstanding 8.3 million is a large portion of the why for that. Other than that, with regard, just a kind of a brief touch on the budget. I had sent out to everybody in case there were any final questions regarding the budget. I did not receive very many questions. I got a couple back that I replied all to that were just kind of clarifications. I didn't know if anybody had any additional questions before we started moving through the agenda items. With regard to the positions that were just mentioned that were being defunded, that we have discussed several times in the budget hearings, the two positions that are being created, we did get confirmation from civil service to allow us to create those positions. And I did reach out to the union to request that two positions be allowed to be added to the union roster for those positions. So it would basically, we are attempting to work with the union on that. I have not received a response back at this point to say whether they would take in those positions or not. That's everything that I had.
Do you have any questions?
So Beth, for the record, what I'm hearing is that we're looking to defund two positions, but create two positions.
Well, technically, we're defunding three, but only two are currently occupied positions.
Right.
Yes, and then we would be creating two new ones this year, and with hopefully that would go back into the union as well.
What is the advantage of, I mean, why are we getting rid of two and adding?
So that's a great question, actually. So the positions we would like to add, we are, we want to change the nature of the positions. So we currently have senior account clerk positions. We wanted to specify, and so we've created positions that are called procurement specialists. We're actually looking to have all of the purchasing for the city done within a small portion of the finance department. And that way we could look at, across all of our purchasing for places where we might be able to save by purchasing more in scale. Looking at areas where some of my concerns currently are that we purchase things in such a siloed fashion that there are some things that by the time we aggregate them at the end of the year, to truly be doing it correctly, we should be putting things out to bid and we're not. So this would give us a better overview of how we're purchasing and making sure we're better in compliance with requirements for that, and hopefully save the city money as well by being able to do it in a more logical fashion and in scale. So those are some of the things we're looking at. It's more of taking the way we buy and just kind of changing the paradigm and looking at it more globally than in the very siloed way we've been doing it over time.
And so who will take over the responsibilities when wastewater doesn't have anyone there?
So I know the mayor had a meeting. He's been looking at the responsibilities for the positions that were going away and looking at ways to kind of spread those across existing personnel in a couple of different departments. I don't think we have that completely finalized yet because we've been also looking within finance to say how are we shifting some of our work as well, and how will we compensate for that? So I don't have a absolute answer to that yet, but it is something that we are looking at and we've been working on.
Okay, so we're getting rid of the positions, but we don't know who's gonna do the job.
That's not accurate. We know we know what responsibilities are to those jobs, and those are discussed.
And have been settled as to who will be doing it. Okay.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Now, that was a conversation I had with the mayor back when we were canvassing for the director of finance. Was to bring all gatekeepers under one roof, which would be supervised by the finance department. Just taking it one step further and I guess separating that portion out. But it makes more sense to have everyone under one roof than scattered all over the city. Ideally would be to have a larger building where we can accommodate even the department heads per se. Each department head doesn't need to be at the facility to manage it. They can manage it from wherever they are because they all have assistant supervisors. So just kind of makes sense to me.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, moving on. Mayor's report. So a couple things, we had the tree lighting, I think 250, 300 people were there, it's a great event, everybody had fun and, it's a great time to see everybody. Thank you, Alderman Beckwith for, standing up there with me in Santa. Youth Bureau, yeah, Youth Bureau, you know, the 400 soccer program, 400 kids in the soccer program, those games start this weekend. There's 10 Portland youth grades 3 to 6 basketball team, which is about 30% more than we had 2 years ago. 58 league teams in that 3 to 6 that cover throughout the county, realistically up to Tully. 57 wrestling. So to answer Chief Nichols' question, that's what's going on at the Parker School. There's a wrestling is there, and there's 57 wrestlers that have signed up K through 6. The kindergarten kids don't compete, but the older ones do. And we also have an agreement with the school to use the gym for their wrestling program. They don't have to take the mats up and down, so they've been using them for practice as well. I'd like to speak single idea. We have not heard back from the state yet, but when we do, you'll be the first person to call, for sure. Here Comes Santa is the 15th. That's full. There's 50 stops, 300 participants. A kind of a unique thing that I heard about today is December 14th. In our rec center at the Youth Bureau, it's called Casey's Closet, and this Tamara Demond is doing this program, and she's doing a one-stop shop for families that are in need, for foster families and for children that are in need. She's offering free haircuts for kids, toiletries, clothing that's new, and all of that in that one-stop shop from 10 to 5 on the 14th of December. So that's kind of a unique thing and a great thing to do this time of year for that need. Had a conference call with EFC today regarding Clinton Ave and the bio retention areas. That didn't go as well as we had hoped. So we had tried to push back to them to allow us to do something different there. And they basically said that if you turn it back into grass, or you do something different than what is originally designed, you can do that, and we'll make you pay back. So that was a grant to do that part. That was what gave us the grant. And we said they could turn that into a 0% loan if we turn back that area back into that. So very frustrating, and we have to incur the cost on top of that. So very frustrating in that aspect. But we will continue to try to analyze where we're at. We have to give them an answer in 2 weeks. So the engineers are gonna come down next week, and we're gonna try to go through that, trying to figure that out. Other than that, Main Street, a couple of little things going on down there yet, trying to get that closed out for the season. There's battles ensuing on that project, which we'll talk about later. I guess that's all I had there. Guthrie had their ribbon cutting today. That was great over there. And it's great to see them expanding, and now they're working on their emergency room department, which would be beneficial to folks as well, to not have that diversion at the hospital. A lot of good things happening over there. With that, anything else, the mayor's report, so we'll go to the mayor's there.
Okay, Ward 3 is good. I encourage people to check out the new convenience store at the corner of Woodruff and Groton Ave, next to Pontillo's, just opened. And that's a wonderful addition to that section of town. But other than that, we're all good.
There's great gelato there.
Yeah, yeah.
Their ribbon, I was at their ribbon cutting as well. That was
Yeah.
Great to have them there. Ward 4, Ms. Lang.
Fourth Ward is quiet, and we did go down to that store, and they have everything.
Mhm.
They have everything you'd ever want down there.
Yeah, it's very convenient.
Yeah.
He's going to make like chicken parm shield that you can buy, from next door.
Yeah, from Pontillo's. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm sure the area is for dairy,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so,
Well received.
yeah, great store.
Yep.
That's it.
Ward 5, Ms. Johnson.
Well, I hope everybody had a lot of turkey. I did. And, before getting a lot of turkey or having a lot of turkey, participated in the turkey trot. And they put on a fantastic event, a lot of people, I think they had a record event. And so that went through the ward a little bit there, and, the trash cans, continue to have some comments, but I walk through the ward about once a week, and there's definitely some apartments that have more bins than they share based on the ordinance. And so, I hope we can get after that in a way.
They're on. Sure. Describe it.
All quiet in the 6th Ward.
Michael.
Couple things. Winter time, always the one that's bitching about the hydrants, so. Don't shovel, keep them clean, please, because it's not only your house we're gonna save, it's a neighbor's house. And if you need help, reach out to the fire department or code office, or your neighbor, somebody will come and show. Excuse me, I haven't been down Main Street since Sunday, but Christmas decorations, I know we're kind of scarce on them, but. I wish we could buy new, but
No, we did. There are snowflakes that are going up on the streetlights that should be up hopefully this week.
And lastly, but least is the budget. Just to clarify it for everybody, I've been on the council here for 10 years now. And it's always a tough decision, always happens around holiday time. But I'm telling you what, it's gonna be tough this year. And it's just, we take some responsibility, we've never done it, but I push to do it every year to do the, 1%, whatever, but Tom just pointed out to me in Mr. Gallagher's mayor term that they had a 10% increase. It just, we gotta make cuts. We gotta, we got some tough decisions here. And I think before we make any rational decisions tonight, that I'd like to postpone it till the next meeting. And that's totally up to you guys. I mean,
We'll talk about it.
yeah, it's just, thank you.
Mr. Michaels?
Well, I think we've all been receiving calls regarding leaf pickup.
Yeah.
They are
Yes.
making the rounds. Yep, and we, there is some good weather in the forecast, the end of next week, so. Hopefully these frozen leaves will be back to their normal state. So that's all I have for my word. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Approval of minutes. Good motion back with Mr. Carpenter. Any questions? All those in favor?
I stand. right here.
Agenda item number 1, adopt 2025 City of Cortland budget and tax rates.
Resolved that the City of Portland Common Council does hereby adopt without modification the proposed 2025 city budget as the final 2025 city budget, consisting of the general fund budget, the water fund budget, and the wastewater fund budget. And be it further resolved that the 2025 general fund budget is hereby approved in the amount of $29,708,911. And the common council adopts a tax rate of $11.90.9760 per $1,000 of assessed value. And be it further resolved that the 2025 water fund budget is hereby approved in the amount of $2,775,638, supported by a 5% increase in the water rate. And be it further resolved that the 2025 wastewater fund budget is hereby approved in the amount of $5,209,200, supported by a 2.54 increase in the wastewater rate. Be it further resolved that the common council authorizes the appropriation of fund balance for carryover encumbrances approved in the 2024 budget. And be it further resolved that all outstanding encumbrances as of December 31st, 2024 are reviewed and hereby reappropriated to the fiscal year 2025 budget to the same department or account if funding is available for the same proposed, for the same purpose which they were encumbered in 2024. After review and approval by the mayor as designated, be it further resolved that all unencumbered appropriations lapsed for budget items other than multi-year capital projects and grants already approved and appropriated by the city council. And be it further resolved that the mayor as designee may approve necessary accounting transfers between departments, projects, and funds to enable the proper accounting and budgetary adjustments for year-end close and encumbrance carryover transactions. And be it further resolved that the city department directors are responsible for the appropriations authorized for assigned departments in the adopted 2025 city budget and may expend up to, but shall not exceed the total appropriated authorized for the assigned department. And be it further resolved that the common council hereby authorizes the systematic transfer of funds in accordance with the adopted 2025 city budget and as amended from time to time through budget transfers and or amendments for benefit charges, debt service payments, and interdepartmental billings to reimburse for services provided. And be it further resolved that the city clerk shall certify and file the adopted 2025 city budget pursuant to section C 21-12 of the city charter and make such budget available to the public.
I'll move.
Spinell. Wait a second. The Carpenter. Any questions?
Is there a way to postpone that?
And if you so desire, we could table it when to this point. Again, I would want to have more direction at that point. Why we've been working on, we've had this out for a month and a half. Nothing's changed. You could back up to the next budget. I'm not sure what our intent would be, what would be the purpose of what we
I want to
look
know
at
more about the two positions,
as far as.
why we're getting rid of them. And I understand the procurement, I really do, but I want to know what it means to the department heads who are losing those people.
But there have already been conversations with the department heads regarding this change. They know what's coming. And they don't seem to be in any way criticizing their decision.
I just to clarify, so conversation's been had, discussion's been had, we had this in our budget meetings, we had it in our budget hearings, we talked about this. About what those positions entitled. So to put it simply is the finance department is running short here on this floor to cover the day-to-day needs. We're 3 years into it, we're still reconciling accounts from the past. Not maintaining the future in a positive way. We all have a fiduciary responsibility to maintain and improve the city in any way we can, up to and including as simple as purchasing paper, doing it in a unilateral response that everybody's working towards. To, at one time, when the gatekeepers were at those, and I'm not minimizing what they're doing or what they did do, but at one time, there was a lot more interaction in those departments, and those departments were somewhat larger in covering those areas. Now with the lessening and with, emails and less phone calls and less day-to-day foot traffic, less being able to drive things through the internet and just to modernize, we need to take the next step approach and be able to utilize people instead of a lower capacity use, be able to use them at a higher capacity use, doing more than one position and covering more of what we need to have covered in our weaknesses in our finance department. So it's pretty basic as that. And, there's compromises that have been discussed with the department heads on what their needs would be short, where they would be short, what they would have to be, and ways to go around them. And the conversation was also had that, do we think we get them all? And do we think they have it all the first time? No. Do we have to make adjustments? Absolutely. And we'll continue to make those adjustments, but we have to do what we can to get our finance team into the next century and also moving towards what we have to do to maintain that. So there's other positions in the water department that we didn't have. There's none of them were going after anybody specific, but we have to make these tough decisions sometimes to cut back. But it's like 4 positions rolled into 2 that are doing the purchasing for example. So one purchasing person would be towards the mechanical side. So there's very many purchases that are happening at the water department that are very similar to the wastewater department. Similar piping, similar vendors, different bidding aspects that could be happening between that, motors and all those kind of things. And then they have the white collar side, the fire department, police department, and some of their data processes, some of their things could be utilized and be done better. So the cost savings are immense after that, let alone that it makes sense on paper to do that. We've gone through great bides to make sure that these persons that are in those positions could make that lateral move to that position and be able to maintain that. They still have bumping rights to the other ones, and then they could be offered that lateral move. So in essence, there will be some compromise, and I'm sure things are difficult, just like every other conversation we have, whether we're negotiating with unions, negotiating with management staff, or negotiating with employees to try to do what we can, or trying to hold people to that accountability level. But we still have a responsibility. And this is kind of the 11th hour, I think, to push this back. If that's the so desire, we want to get it right. We want to do it right. We want to take it. Nobody's trying to jam anything. But the doors have been open, and this could have been discussed at any time during any meeting. This has been brought up the last 2 meetings that I'm aware of, that the discussions have had. So, but I'll take the pleasure.
So as long as adjustments can be made later if they need to. if
Absolutely.
people come-
Like I said to the department heads directly to the face, we will not, if they fail, we fail. We don't want anybody to fail. We want everybody to succeed. And that's our ultimate goal.
So what I understood based off of all our discussions during the budget process was that the world has continued to develop and become more complex. And we saw opportunities where we could actually upgrade the actual positions and functions to meet those needs. So it was an optimization of that. And that's what we're doing, while also being able to take care of some cost savings that we actually desperately need across the city. That's what I saw.
100%. And in every case, only through attrition, this makes sense in every way. And to me, it's a win-win for everybody. And some compromise to fill out to do some paperwork and do some things, but we will continue to work on it to make it perfect. Yes.
Yeah, regarding the 10% that you mentioned, you were correct that it would be more feasible to raise taxes a little bit every year so that we're not faced with this kind of an increase, but there are times where some things get out of control that we really don't have much input in regarding how these bills are being paid and how they're coming back. Like Beth said, the state owes us $8 million. God knows when they're gonna reimburse us for that amount.
But luckily we got Scott and all these projects have been going on. He just talked about Clinton Ave, which we're all upset about it, probably more than me and anybody. And obviously, you know, we're trying to do what we can do, and unfortunately now we're gonna deal with the weed garbage, you know, just. And when you talk about Main Street till next year. Yeah, it's just,
They're all heartaches.
yeah. But he's given 110% running these things and seeing more, but walk Main Street, it's gonna be a mess. I'm not even getting into it right now because it's a whole different ballgame. We're gonna be a shortfall there, that's for sure. But back to Pat's thing, you know, we've met with meeting, they adjust this and we gotta move line items because things are falling short, but it's gonna come to a point, there's not gonna be any more money to grab, and then it's gonna get really hard. Unless something drastically happens, so.
Well, and I would also like to remind my colleagues here at the table that the New York State Comptroller's Office, you know, they offered suggestions prior to the mayor and myself being elected the first time and other people, and they were not implemented. So we are definitely on the radar of the Comptroller's Office and they're watching. And I also want to remind everyone here that we've had 2 bond rating drops this year. So we really need to, as elected officials, be fiscally responsible to everyone in the city and do what we need to do, as painful as it may be. But we need to do that for the good of everyone here, all the residents. And we need to make decisions that are tough. They're not easy, but we need to make those decisions and we need to let, again, I'm kind of wearing this hat, the Comptroller's Office know that we take them seriously. And we're trying to do the best that we can do. And the mayor has implemented changes that they suggested years ago that were never
For sure.
implemented. And he.
Last 10 years, they.
So,
So with that known, I know that people get phone calls by people that know half the story. I open my door up all the time in my phone I'll spend any time and as much time as needed for anybody here to understand it, anybody here. To understand it and get the understanding. But as you know, I won't respond to the non-factual things that go out. Maybe that's a detriment, but people are being fed non-factual items. I won't respond to that because I try to maintain on the positive. The community's not gonna move forward if we don't stay on the positive. So with that said, we'll quantify and justify anything. So you think you get a couple of phone calls over working on a management plan, you recognize we have 7 union contracts coming due next year. And intentionally done together all at once. Smartest thing or the worst thing I ever did, but we need to address this as a whole and a totality. Our health insurance went up 14%. Our retirement went up 20-some%, and that's what we're seeing on this increase. And you know, I value our labor staff. They're hardworking. We got great people. We got great management. We really do. I think they got great people, and you know, but maximizing them. To utilize what we can and making the best we can and giving the best product we can out is the ultimate goal. So hopefully we'll get, you know, some of that unilateral support and we can't just run for the hills because somebody picked up the phone.
That was the one thing I did have questions on, was the 14% confirmed from the consortium?
Yes.
That is voted in, that is next year. And so that's.
I didn't know if it was speculating, estimate, that sort of thing, because they have done that previously, and then.
Yeah, their rates are firmed up. Yeah.
Got it.
And we all know what, you know, the Blue Cross Blue Shield and all those, where that's gonna land in bidding negotiations, and we'll see what that impacts next year. So obviously they're negotiating higher rates to their providers, insurance company, or the, hospitals and the like, so that could drive that cost again next year. So we gotta do everything we can to prepare and just do the best we can and keep working with everybody to give everybody the best product they can, the best job they can, and everything in between. Everybody else on the budget? Who will vote?
It's a tough decision by no means, you know, those that, run a fixed income, I'm one. Retired 3 years now, it's gonna be hard for me to, pick up that difference. But, you know, looking at the Main Street project that's been brought up. You look back, it's been delayed 3 years, so when we finally decided to, initiate that, through the mayor here. By no fault of himself, the previous mayor sat on it for several years. We, those costs and certainly escalated in that 3 year period. Watched your interest rates climb. What do you think did for purchasing? Building materials, loan materials, all that increased, and we're paying for it today.
For sure. And just to clarify one more time, Greenwood, the amount for an average median size home was
$82
$82.
increase for the
$82.
median value.
So, and then, you know, so, just so everybody has just a general idea. So, and I know that the reval, in some cases, I know I had one that went up significantly. Not really excited about that one, especially with loss of revenue from that. Anyhow, but we all have their process to bear. So with that, move the,
Councilmember Pinello,
Yes.
Councilmember Lane,
Yeah.
Councilmember Thompson,
Yes.
Councilmember Carpenter,
Yes.
Councilmember Beckwith,
Yes.
Councilmember Michaels.
Yes.
agenda item number 2, amend the 2024 budget by $14,682.56.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby amend the 2024 city budget in the amount of $36,652.22 as outlined in the accompanying table, moving funds in the amount,
Correction to that number. 14,000 number at the top is correct.
yes, we have different numbers, the
14,000 is correct.
14,000, so the resolved statement should read that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby amend the 2024 city budget in the amount of $14,682.56 as stated correctly in the title and as outlined in the accompanying table.
That Jeff, can I get a motion? Mr. Beckwith? Mr. Carter? Any questions? Hey, move it, please.
Councilmember Pinello,
Yes.
Councilmember Lane,
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson,
Yes.
Councilmember Carpenter,
Yes.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Yes.
Agenda item number 3, accept bid and authorize contract for tree inventory.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby authorize Mayor Steve to enter into an agreement with Labella Associates for an amount not to exceed $52,000 to conduct a comprehensive inventory of all city, street, and park trees and develop a community forest management plan.
Mr. Beckwith? Carpenter? Any questions on that?
Is some of that, is that National Grid pick up some of that, or is that something different?
No, that's something different. The National Grid does help and they're on that. This is just to get the management plan in place. And then Portland State's gonna help out and do some of the work as well. Okay, move it, please.
Councilmember Pinello.
Yes.
Councilmember Lane.
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 4, set public hearing on submitting a Restore New York application for 41 Elm Street in Cortland.
Resolved that the common council shall hold a public hearing at 6 P M, December 17, 2024, in City Hall on the matter of submitting an application for funds in the amount not to exceed $1 million from the New York State Empire State Development Corporation under the Restore New York Round 9 program for the purpose of preparing 41 Elm Street for future development.
I'll move it.
Mr. Canal, Mr. Beckwith. Again, this is another avenue to try to clean up some of our blighted properties and get it for future development. And I think we have some decent future plans for that site, which is a nice site to be able to build on.
Councilmember Pinello,
Yes.
Councilmember Lane, Councilmember Thompson,
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter,
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith,
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 5, authorize the code enforcement officer to enter into a contract with snow and garbage removal services.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council authorizes Mayor Steve or his designee to enter into an agreement for garbage, snow, and other miscellaneous removal services with Matthew Taylor for a rate of $65 per hour for the period of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025.
This is when people don't shovel, they don't take care of their own property.
It gets billed back to them. That was moved by Mr. Beckwith, second by Ms. Lane. Yes, that's correct. It gets billed back to their taxes. If
We don't need, to- well, we have to eat it up front, but we can lever your property or whatever, but at some point we'll get our money.
Okay,
Okay, move it, please.
Councilmember Pinello,
Aye.
Councilmember Lane,
aye,
Councilmember Thompson,
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter,
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith,
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Authorize agreement for grant writing services with 10K Grant Services.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council authorizes Mayor Steve or his designee to enter into an agreement with 10K Grant Services for FEMA grant application services in the amount of $3,000 to be charged to the 2024 budget account for professional services.
I'll move it.
second,
Ms. Manello, Ms. Lane. Any questions? Can you move it, please?
Did we put this out to bid, or did it not meet the?
Doesn't meet the
It doesn't meet-
threshold.
Does meet the thresholds and professional services. He's kind of designated in grant writing for fire departments. So something we trained him because he's
That's why.
Yeah, we trained him, we got good at it.
Right, he got good at it. and he
But
does
Then
it
he retired,
all the
now he's
local-
charging us.
But that's why I asked.
It's a good question. And move it, please.
Councilmember Pinello,
Aye.
Councilmember Lane,
aye,
Councilmember Thompson,
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter,
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith,
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 7, authorize memorandum of understanding of the Virgil Fire District for FEMA assistance firefighters grant regional radio application and local match fundings.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council authorizes Mayor Steve or his designee to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Virgil Fire District as part of a FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant Regional Radio Grant Application. And be it further resolved that the county council further authorizes Mayor Steve or his designee to execute any necessary grant documents and agreements inclusive of the city of Portland's cost share in the amount of $22,726.84 from 2005 budget account for special operations equipment.
Mr. Beckwith. Mr. Carter, thank you. Chief. I know we haven't talked about this, but maybe this might be a good time to make that announcement that I do have a letter from the governor's office. You're not getting,
I'm getting off it, and it's the right time.
you're gonna do it.
Okay, so, well, this is not for this grant, right?
No, it has nothing to do
Let's
with it.
get through this grant, then we'll go to the next one.
Okay, but it's not here.
It's
Okay, all right. So anybody have any questions on this? Okay. Order, please.
Councilmember Pinello,
Aye.
Councilmember Lane,
aye,
Councilmember Thompson,
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter,
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith,
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 8, authorize FEMA assistance to firefighters grant vehicle replacement application and local match funding.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council authorizes the fire chief to apply for a FEMA assistance to firefighters grant for a replacement ladder truck in the amount of $1 million, which requires a 5% local cost share to the city of Portland. And be it further resolved that the estimated cost of the replacement ladder truck is $2.2 million, which would be funded by the sources and estimated amounts listed below. From the FEMA grant, the federal cost share, $950,000. From the FEMA grant, the city cost share, $50,000. And from city budget 2026 appropriations, $1.2 million, for a total city cost estimated at $1,250,000. And be it further resolved that upon award, Mayor Steve is hereby authorized to accept and execute any grant award and agreement documents.
I'll move it.
Second.
It's been all on this back with.
Okay, so this specific FEMA grant application is a resubmittal from last year. So we came in, you supported Chief Tenkate applying for an apparatus FEMA grant, and it did not go through last year. So this is a resubmittal of that. The mayor's indicating that we're receiving preliminary information. If you'll recall, we worked with Toma here earlier in the year regarding a CDBG grant for $1 million for a ladder truck. He's receiving initial information that will be a positive award. So that's half step here, which is an awesome thing, really. That is totally, that's awesome. So this, excuse me, so this part of it, this is just another part of the grant. So we're working through some of the logistics with that, but it's, like the mayor says, he's received initial information that $1 million grant has been awarded to us.
I hope so, because probably Wayne already got it ordered.
So, sign here.
Why you bring that up?
Yeah. So if it, we're hoping that comes to fruition, then this will subsidize that. Hopefully, we're ahead of the game here a little bit, but a lot of unknowns still, but things are looking very favorable. So this is a resubmittal, and we're optimistic about this as well.
So when I had a meeting with the state on a conference call, I had asked him about ways to clean up some of the blighted properties and be able to utilize funding for that. So we're able to work on a couple of those items. And then when I was reading the CDBG grant, I said, why can't this be used for fire equipment instead of just fixing sidewalks and doing those things? And he said, you know what? Nobody's ever tried that before. Let's just give it a whirl. So we did. And I have enough confirmation I feel comfortable with the default. The letter is pretty clear. So that's that. But thank you for working on these other items as well. Anybody have any questions on this one? Nope. Okay, move it please.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 9, authorize FEMA assistance to firefighter grant program. Application for extraction equipment and local match funding.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council authorizes the fire chief to apply for, and if awarded, accept the FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Operations Grant for replacement of hydraulic extraction equipment in the amount of $35,280, consisting of a federal cost share of $33,516 and a 5% local cost share to the city of Cortland in the amount of $1,764 from 2025 budget account for equipment repair. And be it further resolved that upon award, Mayor Steve or his designee is hereby authorized to accept and execute any grant award and agreement documents.
Ms. Lane. Second. Mr. Beckwith. Any questions?
Jaws of life, right?
Yeah.
AKA, that's where you don't know.
What's the age of that current equipment?
So these, there's two pieces of equipment in here. And they're what they call a combi tool, which can also cut and spread. They're a smaller unit. The one that is on the Station 2 engine was here when I started. It's a gas powered unit. so it's 22 years old. We have another one for the engine up here. The heavy rescue truck carries a lot of those tools as well, but much more in depth and a lot more. These are two smaller units that are on each engine, and we're actually gonna make those battery operated for simplicity. And they're on those trucks specifically to start a job or start something if we need them. But the age is getting there, can't get parts, gas motors, little things that are like that. So this is an opportunity to apply, if awarded, it'd be a great opportunity.
Thank you. Take care of the batteries.
I knew somebody was gonna say that.
Move it, please.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 10, accept and recognize donations to the police department.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council, on behalf of the mayor and police department, expresses its gratitude for the generosity of the donors listed below. Be it further resolved that the common council hereby accepts the following donations to be appropriated to the counts and for the purposes below. Donation from Philip and Marie Rumsey in the amount of $1,000 for the K-9 fund. A bottle of can donations in the amount of $142 for the Deer Fund. Shave Incorporated, donation from them in the amount of $2,200 for Shop with a Cop. And all of these following donations are all for Shop with a Cop. Donation from the Police Commission in the amount of $100, from John Sincerbaugh in the amount of $50, from former members of Team Melody Land Bowling Team, $130, and from Sergani Eye Care, $600.
Motion,
I'll move it.
no, Mr. Carpenter. It's a great program and we really appreciate our police officers doing that. It's, if you see the kids that are on that list, it's great for the student. Thank you for that. Thank you for the donation. Move it, please.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 11, accept and recognize donations to the Youth Bureau.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council, on behalf of the Mayor and Youth Bureau, expresses its gratitude for the generosity of Visions Credit Union. And be it further resolved that the Common Council hereby accepts the donations in the amount of $500 from Visions Credit Union for the Visions of Christmas tree lighting event and appropriates such funds to the Sharp Trust.
So, Mr. Beckwith, Mr. Michaels. Any questions? Thank you, Visions Bank. Visions of Christmas, vision lighting, right? Something like that. Okay, move it, please.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 12, accept and recognize donation for community event.
Resolved that the Common Council hereby, resolved that the city of Portland Common Council, on behalf of the Mayor and Youth Bureau, expresses its gratitude for the generosity of Bernard's Custom Logo. And be it further resolved that the Common Council hereby accepts a donation in the amount of $500 from Bernard's Custom Logo for Cortica Community Event, for the Cortica Community Event, and appropriate such funds to budget account for donations within the Youth Bureau.
I'll move it.
Mr. Beckwith. Again, thank you, Bernard. They set up and did during Cortica and they sold Cortica gear and returned some of the proceeds back, which was nice of them to do that to help pay for the Porta Johns and some of the other event stuff that we had. Okay, look at this.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye. Thank you,
Councilmember-
Stephen.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Hey, anybody else have anything else?
One quick thing.
I forgot to mention earlier, this Friday night at 6:30 in the Village of Homer is the hospice tree lighting ceremony. And obviously hospice,
6:30.
yeah,
Right.
affects everybody, whether it's, it's always happening in Homer, been doing it for 25, well, probably longer than that, but usually a great event.
Usually it conflicts with ours, so.
Yeah.
Glad you did.
Good job this year.
I think
It's my local.
that's it. Yeah, we'll show there. Anybody else?
Jack needs to be there, right? Or might come in.
Hang on, motion to adjourn. Carpenter and Mr. Beckwith, those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn. What's the sixth?